What is going on, passive income family? In today's video, we're going to be talking about financial resolutions for the year of 2020. Now, we are already 2.5 months in, and there's still a long ways to go. So hopefully these 5 resolutions will resonate with you and help you become financially free. The start of New Year is the perfect time to reflect on what you want to improve in your life and to create plans to make it happen. So if you're not moving towards a goal that you've set for yourself, then you'll know that you're not going to attain your goals without hard work and dedication. Additionally, with the right plan in place, you can stick to your financial resolutions and end the coming year in a way better position than you started it, which is the ultimate goal. You should never truly be in competition with anyone other than yourself, and that's just the best way to go about it, at least for me. Number 1 on the list is going to be creating a budget you'll stick to. So this doesn't mean a budget that you've seen on an Instagram meme or something that you've run across on YouTube, but a budget that is tailored specifically to your income and expenses. And of course, something that's realistic that will not put you in any type of financial hardship. That's going to be one of the most important things that you're going to want to start with. And so map out your income, and once you have your income set, then you'll go ahead and put your deductions or expenses on another end of the column. And once you subtract those numbers from each other, you'll get what it is that you could actually be spending if you spent no additional money on top of your necessities. So that always doesn't work out the greatest. However, if you are dedicated and truly determined to become financially free and work towards those goals on a daily basis, then you'll find that this is very little to ask for, especially considering it's only going to be temporary. So you can cancel out payments you don't need, and there's so many different things that we could be talking about when I say this, like subscriptions. That's one of the most heaviest hitting fees that are constantly hitting people on a monthly basis. That's why it's a subscription, and people tend to not realize it as much or ignore it due to the fact that it's something they really like, even if they don't truly need it, like TV subscriptions. There's a whole bunch of things out on the market right now where you can have a bunch of items mailed to you on a monthly basis, kind of like a mystery box. And although these things are really fun and help with entertainment, they put dents in your pocket, and they are the opposite when it comes to the philosophy of future financial freedom. Don't forget that a budget can be flexible as well. If you overspend in one area, you can try and balance it out by cutting back in another area. I've done this, and I use this blueprint for many years till this very day. And sometimes things don't always work out the way you put it on paper, so you have to be able to be a bit flexible and lenient when it comes to spending a little bit more than anticipated. If you discover that you keep having to make changes, don't abandon the budget altogether. Instead, you can fine-tune it and part way through the year and keep moving forward. What I mean by that is, in the event that you realize you have a larger expense than you originally anticipated, you can just go ahead and keep that number there, just so you know what you're starting out with, and see how minimally you can adjust it in order to stay below your means. Because at the end of the day, the way to gaining generational wealth and financial freedom is by living below your means. 5 ways to set a budget. Number 1 is going to be calculating expenses. Your first order of business is finding out exactly how much you're spending every single month. So if you're not knowing what's coming out on a monthly basis, this is a very red line, because you won't be able to manage adequately. There's a lot of ways you can do this. You can consult your bank. There are people who go to school to help you calculate all these things if you feel like it's not one of your strengths and you might need some assistance. However, if you just grab a piece of paper and a pen and you go ahead and add up and just go ahead and go through the statement and see what it is you're spending on a 30-day calendar, then you'll have a pretty good idea. For people who have a very spontaneous spending spree, you might want to go ahead and check the last 3 months, so the last 90 calendar days, and find your median expense range so that you can be a little bit more unbiased when you're trying to figure out what it is that you spend monthly. Number 2 is going to be determine your income. You're going to want to know what's coming in on a monthly basis, whether it's fixed, does it go up in a certain percentage on a monthly basis. You have to be aware of all these things in order to calculate the correct amount of income that you're receiving on a monthly and or yearly basis. So once you've figured it out, how much money you need to stay afloat, then you can go ahead and subtract that from the total amount of your income, and everything that is beyond that is positive cash flow that you can use to save consistently and reoccurringly to go ahead and make a bigger purchase later on that can help you and add another diversification stream to your investments. Another big thing that everyone should be aware of is how much money a credit card actually costs you on a regular basis. It's very tough to keep in mind, but it's something that's a great reminder of how much money is being spent on credit card debt. It is one of the most leading ways to just keep throwing money out the window due to the extreme interest rates that are tacked onto the balance that you owe. So always make sure that you're not spending more than you can afford, and try your best to have a savings and a debt payoff goal. So in order to determine the savings and debt goal, you're going to need to find out exactly how much your budget is short and what it covers, and you're going to have to make adjustments on a regular basis in order to have an equation where it'll work out in favor to your expenses and your income. My rule of thumb is that as long as you're spending at least 20 to 40% less than you're making, then you're in a very good zone and you can continue to financially prosper as the months go on. This amount can be earmarked for your savings and to pay off debt. So if you're waiting to save a whole bunch to pay off debt, which I don't recommend, I think you should knock out the debt first, then you can go one of either way. But if you determine you're spending more than you're making, it's time to do some cutting so you have something to save and don't go further into debt. That's one of the most important things also to remember. You do not want to add more debt to pre-existing debt, as this will only make a very big snowball effect in interest on a monthly basis. So you're always going to want to make sure that whatever debt you have, try to cancel it out as soon as possible, because it does add up over time. So a little example you guys can use to see how just a couple of dollars actually adds up very significantly. If you spend just $5 a week on snacks, that adds up to $260 a year, which is not too significant. However, that's on a weekly basis, and we all know that that $5 is usually spent multiple times on a daily basis, or multiple times even on a weekly basis. Keep in mind that these little transactions add up to some large increments, and you would be surprised to know that it's a whole bunch of money that you could be saving. Number 4 is going to be recording your spending and tracking your progress. The best way to stay on top of your budget is to record all of your expenses and income. Having to input expenses will cause you to think twice before splurging, and it's especially satisfying and motivating to record when you've met a savings goal and or canceling out debt. Number 5 is being real with yourself. Now, this is going to be one of the most important things, although it's on the last of the list. You're going to want to make sure that you're making realistic budgets and goals. If you have goals that are set too far out in advance, then it might be a bit discouraging or tough to reach those goals. However, if you set short milestone goals that you can achieve on a monthly or even on a quarterly basis, then that's something that you can work towards more and more with determination and dedication without getting burnt out too easily. If you go ahead and set a goal on a yearly basis, you can do that once you are in a good position and above float. However, when you're starting off in the very beginning, you're going to want to make sure you can actually reach those goals and make them attainable. So that's going to be the 5 ways to set a budget. And these are 5 ways that I've used over and over again on a reoccurring basis for myself, on a monthly, on a yearly, and so on. It's just a good guideline to set for yourself if you're interested in growing towards your financial freedom. I appreciate you guys watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and share with anyone you feel would benefit from this video. If you're interested in following me on Instagram for more tips like this, follow me at Passive Income Addict, and we'll be seeing you guys next time. Peace.